Good morning, my friends, or good afternoon, or good evening. It's Dia de Libertade here in Portugal, so things are a little different. The house is retaining its teenager, and it seems like we will be having a family day. And today I wanted to share with you a little autobiographical story with maybe a small teaching in the end. Not sure of which value it will be, but it was valuable for me for a number of years, so maybe. I grew up with quite a bright start, and through my teens, there were two qualities, two skills that seemed to be defining my life. One is that I was academically bright. I had my straight A's in school, I was well adapted, I could understand all the difficult subjects, anything from language to mathematics, physics, technical drawing, I don't know, school was easy. And the other skill that I had, I was quite a good football player. If where I grew up in the Basque countries, in Bilbao in particular, everybody played football, so it was not out of this world, but I did have a skill that allowed me to fantasize about maybe one day becoming professional and playing in the Athletic de Bilbao, like all the kids were dreaming. I actually played in the junior categories for a few years. So between my academic success and my athletic success, when I was 15, 16, I was quite self-confident, and I felt that I had, in one way or another, a bright future. Whether I was going to utilize my intelligence or my academic understanding or my body's ability, it seemed that I was destined for something beautiful, successful, maybe even important. And the circle of people that I had around me, my family, my friends, my trainers, my teachers, they all concurred. I was a kid with a bright star. During the years between 17 to 20, somewhere in there, everything turned. And the first thing was football. In the step from juniors to seniors, I had an unlucky season with quite bad injuries in my pubic bone, my pubic joint, and in my knee. Made me lost the train, made me lost the confidence. And at that time I was not in tune with the idea of manifesting your reality like I am now. So I think I did my best for a couple of years as the injuries dragged, but somehow I lost faith. And with it, the football dream disappeared. It was a couple of years. I could touch it with the tip of my fingers at 16, 17 started to fade. By the time I was 19 years old, it was clear to me that the train had passed without me. Then I leaned into studying instead, by then I was one of these kids that without football I really didn't know what to do with my life. I had no passion, I had no other dream than becoming a football player. So by default I just followed my academic qualities and I ended up in the School for Engineers in Bilbao, quite a prestigious school. And I tried. And I failed miserably. I could not care less about learning about machines and physical processes, and Jesus, that was boring. I enjoyed very much the theoretical aspect still. I love technical drawing, the ability that it gives you to see things in 3 dimensions and imagine volumes and shapes. I really felt like it was training my mind for something. And the little dip into more complicated physics or mathematics, theoretical knowledge was really interesting, but it did not captivate me beyond it being interesting. And besides, that was only footnotes because the education was mainly technical. So beyond the first year, second year, I totally collapsed onto myself and I stepped into a dark age of the soul for myself. A few years where it was really dark. Looking back, probably I had an undiagnosed depression. I went to school, but often I didn't. I took a lot of time wondering about life. I spent days on walking around crying by myself with a question repeating in my head, what will I do with my life? What will I do with my life? What is my place in the universe? I felt really lost. I felt I was disappointing everybody. I took a side job to support my parents paying an education that I was failing to be good at. I felt really guilty. And it was long. I mean, I was supported by love. I had a beautiful girlfriend at the time. I had my still football friends. I had the support of my family in one way or another. And later on, it got a little easier, but there were 2, 3 really, really dark years where I don't think anybody really knew, but I was broken inside. I was reading a lot of books. I was spending a lot of time in nature. It didn't help that I felt as a religious positioning. I felt very much an atheist at the time with my technical and scientific upbringing. I did not leave much room for God. I did not leave much room for mystery. I was quite deterministic, I think, at the time. But as a deterministic mind, or as a scientific mind more than deterministic, I really loved thinking, and I chased many thoughts till the very end, till the thought turned into a feeling. I kept doing that, chasing ideas, chasing the whys and the where do we come from and where are we going and what is the meaning of life, till the wave of the thought would wash into the shore of some other thing, a feeling, an emotion, a place where thought felt like you have gotten to the ocean on a bicycle and then you want to continue your journey, but the bicycle doesn't work because it's not going to float on water. Something like that. During these 2 years, I had a secret practice that I designed for myself. It was very basic. I did not have yet direct connection with yoga or meditation or spirituality, so it was a self-created emergency practice just to survive. But it was very useful. I would go in the metro, I would see the city, I would be sitting in the last row of a packed classroom full of very eager students and me looking at, not my phone at that time, but looking at my comics or looking at my Plato books or whatever, or Che Guevara autobiography. And I would ask myself, what if this was your last day? Not any better, not any improvement, not a beautiful day at the beach, but this shitty, fucking boring, depressing, rainy city day in winter where you are lost, where you have no idea where life is going, where you have no joy in your heart. What if this was the last day? And I remember feeling my breath. I remember looking at people's faces. I remember looking at my hands. I remember drinking a cup of coffee or taking a walk, listening to music in my Walkman. And even in the heart of that undiagnosed depression, I felt how deeply worth it was to live, how beautiful it was to be given the chance to feel like shit even, how amazing it was to partake of this enormous experimental experience that is creation. I started to refine the practice into smaller bits. So for instance, if I had a really acute suffering moment, I would say, what if the next hour is your last hour? And you cannot improve it. You cannot call your best friend. You cannot go to your favorite mountaintop. You cannot choose to shift into something you like or appreciate or share it with someone you love. But this bad company, boring, unpleasant, rainy, cold, intellectually unstimulating reality is your last one. And still worked. It didn't need to be a day. It could be an hour. It could be a minute. Till the moment I started to ask, what if this was your last breath? It became a prayer. I did that so often, several times a week for sure, sometimes several times a day, sometimes with eyes so full of tears that I couldn't see. And it saved me. It created an appreciation for life within my own darkness, within my own sadness, within my own sense of loss and lack of compass. Just a thin bridge, but it saved me. It saved me through those 2, 3 really dark years. And Later on, when I discover more formally the art of yoga, the art of meditation, and they refer to being present, to being in the now, I could relate. I could relate from a direct experiential place. I could relate from my own struggle. How to narrow down your view into the present experience can help you during a very scary walk through uncharted territories. Like I heard the other day, there are some times deep in the jungle when your direction is simply the next step. I have no idea why I wanted to share this with you today. I woke up and I don't know, I'm not really feeling sad or depressed lately. Many years. I do have my moments, but I don't know. I just woke up with this memory and I felt that maybe it has some value for some of you. Yeah. So if that can be the teaching of the day or not the teaching, come on, the sharing of the day, if it's useful, it makes me happy. Feliz Dia de Liberdade. May you experience this day um, free, not from anyone, but free from our own limiting beliefs, free from our own preconceptions of what life is supposed to be, free to meet this moment as if it was the only one, because this moment is the only one. Be well, my friends. Be happy.